3, 2, 1, 0.
Wait, that was after 0.
What?
It was also a bad clap.
3, 2, 1, 0. Yeah, well, it's fine. Figure it out in post. All right, so I still haven't figured out the right intro, but let's do this. Drum roll. We have some cool like guitar intro for the podcast. I should have brought it with. No, it's kind of has like a punk like it's kind of cool.
Okay.
I was gonna go with like a metal soundtrack first, but then it made us sound like we were gonna get into a really intense discussion, and then we like talk about like Mortal Kombat for like 30 minutes, which I guess translates. But okay, let's do this. Hello everybody, and welcome back to We'll Do It Live, a podcast where we discuss the movie of the week, and at the end of it, with the help of our beautiful, wonderful fans, those in the audience, we come up with a prequel, sequel, or remake of the movie in the genre of chat's choice. Last week we did Iron Man as a horror mockumentary, and it was a remake. It was a lot of fun. This week we're doing Color Out of Space. I am one of your hosts, Zach, and with me, as always, is Shayne. Shayne, that's you. How are you doing, my friend? What's going on?
So good. I'm
There's
so very excited.
It's been like because I look for articles and things to talk about on the cast, the podcast. God, I don't like that I called it the cast, the podcast, the cast, the pod, if you will. And it's been like a weird week. I have a couple things I want to talk about. Is there anything you are itching to talk about first?
It doesn't have to be first. I'm sure it's gonna get brought up. But I
Yeah.
only do have the one thing. It's just gonna bring us right back full circle to last week's episode.
Okay, I know exactly. We'll definitely talk about the new Mortal Kombat trailer. Let's start it off with the big news of yesterday. It's movie adjacent, so I feel like it is okay to talk. Well, I mean, let's talk about Daft Punk.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Daft Punk.
That's
Dude, I got emotional yesterday. I'm not going to lie. It's so weird to think that Daft Punk broke up. For those who don't know, yesterday, Daft Punk called it quits after 28 years. They have been a band as long as I have been alive.
literally longer than
Literally longer, yeah. But no, it was hit me more than I thought it would. Daft Punk has been a band that has like been a soundtrack or in somewhere close to most of my memories I have of growing up. Like, it's just they were big for me. Do you have any? What are your thoughts on Daft Punk? I guess on the whole breakup and all that stuff.
I don't think they were quite as influential on me in my early years as they were on my later years.
Yeah.
But like throughout high school and my adult life, like you said, they were always around. So when I saw that, I mean, I wouldn't say I got emotional.
Right.
I was like, literally my exact response was, "Damn, that sucks."
Right. It's like it's like. They like people are acting like they died, which it kind of is like they did, because like Daft Punk is one of those rare bands, kind of like Guar or
yeah,
when David Bowie was Ziggy Stardust. Like they were Daft Punk. The thing that was Daft Punk was the two masked robots. Like no one, and they did that on purpose. So it's like when they are breaking up, like the entity that was Daft Punk is no more, and it's just weird thinking, like, the last album that came out, I think, was 2013, Random Access Memories. 10 out of 10 album, honestly. It was my favorite album of that year. Probably still one of my favorite albums. Go check it out. But they hadn't made anything in, like, oh, God, that's been 8 years since 2013. So it's, like, weird that we didn't get an album to say goodbye. But Daft Punk is also one of those bands where, like, I respect them for the fact that they don't just keep putting out albums or don't keep working on projects. They just release stuff when it is like a 10 out of 10. They're incredibly consistent.
Yeah, I can agree with that entirely. Also, I don't know if that's on your end or just my end, but you're totally robotic there.
Yeah, you're also super robotic.
I'm
Discord
robotic
Joe.
too.
Yeah,
Beep, boop,
Discord.
bop, boop, beep, bop, boop.
Daft Punk is taking over.
Daft Punk is here.
Oh god, I wonder if it's Discord. Discord. Oh, it
What?
is.
We pay for this.
We do pay for this stuff. Let me make sure nothing's downloading in the background. Like my computer, I don't think it is.
Get out of here, Spotify. Stop ruining my time.
All right, now it
now you
sounds
sound
fine.
better.
Yeah, now it sounds
Neat.
fine. So it must have.
Great.
Okay. Anyway, I think it's respectful that we sounded like robots, so we're talking about Daft Punk. But anyway, it was like a big day. I know a lot of people. There is a streamer on Twitch. I guess this is kind of going full circle because we are streaming on Twitch. If you're watching this in the future, you can check us out on the links underneath if you're listening to it, and the podcast description. Or if you're on YouTube, literally our names are underneath our faces as we talk, so check us out there. But a streamer known as Wilnef, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's probably one of my favorite streamers. He's very passionate. He talks about film and stuff, but he also does like GTRP. Really highly recommend. He's a really cool dude. He did a like 5-hour Daft Punk tribute stream last night.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, he watched Interstellar 5555, which was probably my first introduction to Daft Punk. If for those who don't know what that is, it is a Daft Punk film that came out in the late 90s. I remember seeing it on Toonami a lot. It's really cool. It is probably one of the better musical films out there. It's amazing. But he did a really touching tribute to him. He talked about like their importance kind of like shaping music. But like the main part, like he's like, there was something that he said at the end of it that kind of stuck with me because it's kind of how I've pictured Daft Punk. It was, it's because in Random Access Memories, I think the third track is this song dedicated to the person who inspired Daft Punk to create it. It's an interview with him. It is a really great song. I can't remember the name of the track, but it's fantastic. You can find it on Random Access Memories. It'll definitely pop up. But pretty much the streamer, Wilnef, was saying the sentiment is like, Daft Punk was the people who made cool shit because this person made cool shit. And after listening to Daft Punk, I want to make cool shit. And pretty much the general thing was bands like Daft Punk, these really creative endeavors, these really strong groups that like do connect with us emotionally, like they inspire us to make cool shit. Like Daft Punk is gone. They're no more. We might get some album like 10 years from now, but they're no more. So now it's like our responsibility to take what they did and make cool shit. And I just thought that was a great sentiment. Especially we're talking about movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
So
it's that hits home.
It does. Like Random Access Memories, I listened to that album when I was doubting myself creatively, and like I heard it and it inspired me. It's cool how different genres of different mediums of art can inspire you to make other things, and we can definitely bring that into Color of Space when we talk about it, seeing that it was originally a short story. Yeah, a damn good one too. Yeah. One last thing on Daft Punk before we move on. Disney, don't fucking make Tron 3 now. The only reason anyone talks about Tron Legacy is because it is one of the greatest soundtracks of all time because Daft Punk created it. Like,
true.
I don't even remember what happened in Tron Legacy. I just remember the soundtrack fucking kicks ass.
Just vibing out the whole time.
Yeah,
that was a cool movie because it sounded awesome.
Right, I can't think of like a movie, like we talked last week about movies with great soundtracks, like that, there's not too many movies where like I just want to listen to their soundtrack and not watch the movie, but like that is one of them. Like can't like, it was cool, like I think eventually I can't remember what happened in it, but like I'll throw on the fucking soundtrack any day and listen to it because it was sweet. What else? There was some other stuff. Let's talk about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, let's talk about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, what did you think of the trailer? So last week, for anyone who wasn't here, in our last episode, we actually talked about how we were it's kind of interesting that Mortal Kombat hadn't given us a trailer yet. That it's coming out like next month or something, or like a month and a half, and we hadn't get it. We got some teasers, but no trailer, and we talked about how that could probably not be a good thing. Mortal Kombat must have heard us, obviously, and then it dropped the trailer like 6 hours after the podcast was done. So we have a trailer now. What did you think of it?
I am a lot more excited now than I was before I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
I think I agree with your statement. If you'd like to make it.
It is the fan service of this trailer. Is that what you're talking about? That statement?
Yes, and like I agree 1000%. I am here for it.
Yeah, like
I'm in. Like to see it done so well.
Yeah, we hear finish him. We see get over here. We have Sub-Zero make a knife out of blood and then stab some.
Wins.
Yeah, Kano wins. The only issue, the only thing that I'm kind of scared of is like the first half of the trailer is taking this like kind of serious tone, like this kind of like Marvel kind of like Avengers tone, like we have to get the group together to stop this ultimate evil. And then the second half of the trailer is the part that really interested me because it was Kano wins, finish him, Sub-Zero, get over here. Like that's the part I'm interested. I like this. It's gonna be like I feel like Godzilla King of Monsters for me. I don't give a shit.
Story out of here.
Get your fucking story out of here. Just fucking fight. The gore looks good. Like it looks like a brutal movie.
The gore looks good, and the Goro looks good.
Yeah, Goro makes appearance.
Goodness, Goro just coming in hot. He looks good. I was expecting them to come in with like some like ABC Family fucking CGI.
Yeah.
But it actually looked.
It didn't look bad. Like there was some that like there was some that kind of looked but like.
Yeah, but I mean like it ain't 1993 or whatever.
Right, it's not the original Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, the Kano eye like laser beam kind of looked weird, but like yeah, the most like 95% of the like the actual special effects looked pretty good. Yeah. For a Mortal Kombat movie. Like
I'm kind of excited that Scorpion is alive.
Right.
I feel like that kind of has the potential to lead into some other cool shit.
I think it's they kind of have Marvel MCU syndrome. And when I say that to everyone, I mean ever since MCU showed you can do a multiverse and kind of have all these movies intertwined, every studio who has any property wants to do that just because it's a moneymaker. I kind of hope Mortal Kombat doesn't do that. Like, I don't think we need like a Liu Kang solo movie or like. But I guess like a
yes, I see what you're saying. Like, I didn't even necessarily mean like a solo movie, but yeah, they could make a Scorpion solo movie or like a Liu Kang solo movie. Yeah, I don't think I'd be too interested in that. Like, I kind of just like the idea of all these people coming together and ripping people's hearts out.
Exactly. Like I just like I said, it's gonna be like Godzilla for me. I don't care about this. Like, yeah, there's the Earth realm. There's the I think the tattoo idea, the tattoo birthmark is really kind of like so cheesy that I kind of I hope they don't take that part seriously. I hope like that part they ham up a bit because it's like that scar isn't a scar. It's a pass to the Tournament of Champions. It's like okay.
It's your passport. Make sure you check it at customs.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, just all right, cool. But then we get like Reptile, and then we get Goro, we get the blood knife, the Sub-Zero blood knife is so cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was sweet.
Then he like makes the ice wall, and like I was kind of hoping when he made the ice wall, like it would be spikes and we'd get like a proper fatality, and he would just like kick him into it, and like just
show me the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. We also there was some characters that popped up that I was like, really? Like we have the smoky creature looked like it was like Noob, you know, like Noob Saibot.
Yeah, possibly.
Like, well, okay. My question is, what character do you think they could throw into the Mortal Kombat movie that like no one would expect? Just because it's the Mortal Kombat movie.
What's his name? Let me look. Hold on. Let me just do a quick Google.
We also got Reptile, and Reptile looks kind of cool.
It's man.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, also the fucking end with like the music, the Mortal Kombat theme coming in, like dun dun dun. I was like, okay, you're sold. I'll watch you.
This is the wrong character. What the hell is that dude's name? He's like the. He's actually in the second Mortal Kombat movie.
Is it Mocap? Are you thinking Mocap?
No, it's the dude that's like a horse bull thing.
I know exactly. I can't even remember.
I thought it was Kintaro, but that's just the Tiger Goro. Is it I thought it was Minotauro or some shit.
I think it is something stupid like that. There's been so many stupid characters in Mortal Kombat that I just love. Oh, it could also be Smoke.
Here we go. I'm just gonna check out the Mortal Kombat Armageddon, roster.
Yeah.
Because that game was unbelievable.
I forgot that they recolored Scorpion and Sub-Zero like 10 times, and they're all different characters. Like we have Chameleon and Shadow and Rain.
Motaro, that's his name. Motaro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that weird fucking guy.
So
he looks so funny in the second movie.
Oh my god, you're right. Mine would have to be Mocap. Do you remember what Mocap? It's literally just a dude in a motion capture.
Yeah.
I want that Easter egg. I want just some guy like in the fighting tournament just wearing a motion capture, like or just like a green screen suit, just unedited, just there.
Oh man.
There was. I might be wrong here. We didn't see Johnny in the trailer, did we?
No. I didn't, at least. He may have been in there, but like nobody said his name or anything.
Yeah, we got Sonya, we got Reptile, we got
He was never really cut out for this stuff anyway.
I want Johnny Cage in it.
I feel like the characters that they put in are the characters that are like the most likely to live. Right? Like if you add in Johnny Cage, you're like, oh, he's fucking dead.
Right. So I want him. I'm surprised we got Kano. I didn't think people knew who Kano was, but I guess he is like a
He's OG.
Staple. He is a staple of Mortal Kombat.
OG. I like that Jax is in it.
Yeah, I like it that we see Jax get his arms ripped off,
yeah,
and then later he has his metal arms. Like I didn't think we were gonna get a Jax origin story. But,
immediately.
Yeah.
I assume they're gonna like bang him out like instantaneously. They're gonna be like, oh, flashback. Here's all this crazy shit that flash forward. Now Jax has metal arms. Sonya's
a super agent. She's like a super military agent.
Insane.
Yeah.
Great. And it looked like somebody online, I saw a thing pointing out she had like her wrist or her ring that does like the sonic waves.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
So that could be cool. And there was also some imagery of Shang Tsung in there, so that'll be exciting. So.
Yeah, we got Kung Lao, we got a lot of characters. They name dropped a lot of characters.
Mortal Kombat again for 30.
Yeah. But I was actually gonna say let's do next week Mortal Kombat, but I think we wait to do the original Mortal Kombat when Mortal Kombat drops.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. All right. I don't even want to talk about Cruella. That's just another franchise that Disney is fucking.
I did see that dropped, and it's
I don't even want to talk about
it. That we're not going to talk about it. WandaVision was sick this week. No spoilers. We'll keep it a spoiler-free zone. But if you're not watching WandaVision, you should.
Yeah, watch it.
In the MCU.
And if you did watch it, there is a post-credit scene. So
yes,
make sure you watch that. It's cool. It was cool. Yeah, WandaVision's getting really good. We only have 2 episodes left, so we'll see.
Is that confirmed?
We'll see. Yeah, they were only doing.
No, I'm just kidding.
They're only doing like 8 episodes or 9 episodes.
I never realized, or I was wondering that last week because, well, this week it almost felt like, great,
Yeah, right.
Season 2 or some shit.
No, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a season 2 of WandaVision.
I was thinking the same thing because I had heard that it was supposed to lead up into like,
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear that, but I assumed that. But when I heard that, I thought maybe it was in addition to. Like,
no, it is. It's confirmed that this is the lead up into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This is like the prequel to the new Doctor Strange. Was talking about Doctor Strange. This was kind of biggish news. I mean, it didn't really do anything for me. But they got Danny Elfman to do the score for the new one, which
Cool.
is interesting because for those who didn't know, Sam Raimi and Danny Elfman had a beef back in the day after Spider-Man 2, and Sam Raimi's directing it, and Danny Elfman's back. I
watched it. Hatchet
what?
buried?
Maybe I don't know. Danny Elfman, it's good. I think that's all really I have to say about that. He was better back in the day. Like he's done like 300 movies though, so I guess it's hard to say that consistent.
Yeah,
like
he's got quite a lot under his belt.
There's some other stuff. We talked about Zack Snyder last week. Let's talk about him again.
Okay, yeah.
He's making a new movie called Army of the Dead.
Okay.
That is a quote-unquote a group of mercenaries plot a heist on a Las Vegas casino during a zombie outbreak. Tell me that isn't the most Zack Snyder fucking movie idea.
This sounds pretty great.
It
sounds like there's a lot of potential for slow-mo.
Yeah, so you're not wrong. My whole thing with it is Zack Snyder, when he does his own solo stuff, it usually looks pretty like Sucker Punch visually was interesting. The story was fucking there, I guess. But like every time he kind of does his solo stuff, it's always
300 was a masterpiece. 300 was pretty good.
Yeah, but that's an adaptation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Which I do like. 300 was good. I agree. 300, I liked Watchmen too. Watchmen was also a good Snyder movies. But those are adaptations. So I don't know how this will go. I will say the Dawn of the Dead, his like directorial debut, kind of like when he did the remake, that is actually a pretty good zombie movie. Like
I enjoyed it.
It's not bad for taking a franchise.
I didn't even ever realize that was him.
Yep, that was like his big movie that he made.
The one with Ving Rhames?
The one that came out in like 2003?
And Sarah Polley?
Yes, the one that came out.
Okay. That's crazy. There's a lot of slow-mo in that too.
Right, once you watch it after you know Zack Snyder made it, you're like, oh yeah.
Dang, I should have known.
Yeah, I was actually looking into it because that was interesting. So he made a bunch of music videos before he started making movies. Like his list is like he made a ZZ Top music video, then a Rod Stewart one, then a Morrissey one, and then he directed Dawn of the Dead.
What? This guy's career is.
And then he directed 300, and then he directed My Chemical Romance music video. And then he directed Watchmen, and then he directed Legend of the Guardians, Galhool, the owl movie.
Wow, his spectrum is just like all over the place. That's so cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna be getting the Army of the Dead, which premise sounds stupid. I kind of am into it, like a casino heist during a zombie movie. But like we'll see. It's I can tell you two things already. We're already gonna get a lot of slow mo, and it's gonna have that weird gritty, like desaturated look to it that Zack Snyder loves.
Yeah.
Except like some colors will pop out, like the blood will be like really vibrant, but everything else will be like black and white pretty much. He's very consistent. I just saw that, I was like, okay, we talked about Zack Snyder, that is something that would pop up. Paddington 3's coming out. Do you have any?
Oh wow, really?
Dude, there's this weird thing about like it's the bear. It is. So there's this weird thing that a lot of critics that I like respect and know and stuff, a lot of people who I like actually value their opinions on films like a lot, like they love Paddington 1 and 2. Like I'm not like, I guess they're like sleeper hits. Like people love Paddington.
I just had my mind blown by the fact that a Paddington 2 even existed.
Right, and I guess it was like ruled. I guess like people actually
$40 million budget.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to see its Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm pretty sure like people were like, you need to see this. Like, yeah, okay. Paddington 1 has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Paddington 2 has 100%.
Wow, it has Hugh Grant, Brendan Gleeson. This is Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I didn't mean to fucking talk shit. Nobody.
Right? I mean, my instinct would be to talk shit too, but like, there's these movies that are just like about a furry bear that people love. I don't know. I was a Winnie the Pooh kid.
So there's a Paddington 3 coming out now.
Yeah, and people are hyped about it.
Okay, all right. I mean, sign me up, man. I guess if the people have spoken.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
There was an interesting what the hell? There was a Prime original that I just saw a trailer for that looked pretty neat.
Ooh.
I can't remember what it was, but it's coming out soon.
Yeah, dude, fucking 100%.
Keep your eyes out if you're a Prime member.
I'm just like reading this Paddington thing. Like, I've never seen 100% critic score from like Rotten Tomatoes, and then like 88% audience score. That's a movie that both the critics and the general audience like. That never happens.
They agree. Wow.
Like, the top comment is the thing about the Paddington movies is that they're just perfect. I need to watch these movies, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. To check me out some Paddingtons, and we'll throw it on the list.
Yeah, definitely.
The answer to my question was found. The trailer for Coming to America 2 dropped this week.
Oh, Coming to America is one of my favorite films of like all time. It's so good. That's kind of makes me afraid. I don't like when people do sequels 30 years down the line, but like, what the hell's Eddie Murphy been doing? Is my question. I haven't
been writing Coming to America 2
for the last 20 years. He just disappeared. I mean, honestly, like Coming to America.
Jones is in it.
Yeah, I mean, the original cast and Arsenio Hall's in it too, isn't he?
I didn't see him, but I'm looking it up right now.
Like, Coming to America is like one of those films that I and my dad have watched so many times. Yeah. I probably could quote it word for word. It is an amazing movie. It is one of the greatest comedies from that era. It's so good. So we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it when it comes out, 100%. But I haven't thought about Eddie Murphy in a while, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think he released a stand-up.
Yeah, he's doing like stand-up. Like, what was his last movie? Was it that weird one where he was like an alien in a human body?
Arsenio Hall is in this movie.
Okay.
So that's
Beverly Hill Cops 4 is also coming out?
Oh! That's what Eddie Murphy's been doing for the last 30 years. Just writing sequels to the greatest movies of my childhood.
Holy shit, Wesley Snipes is also in Coming to America.
Oh man, dude, like I'm with you on the whole like being sketched out about sequels coming out years and years later, but I feel like the fact that they cast the original cast and it just so happens to be these specific people. I
mean, if James Earl Jones is coming back, that's saying something. James Earl Jones is actually like a really great actor.
Right. And so I've mentioned to you the film series Phantasm many times.
Yes, you have. I still need to watch it.
To me, it's a classic. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. It's supposed to be a horror movie, so take that with a grain of salt. But I think it's really great. And they brought that movie back like every like 5 to 10 franchise years for like 6 movies, and it's not like a masterpiece. And I have a feeling that like this new Coming to America may not be a masterpiece either, but I think it will be very, very good just because of like who's involved in it, why they would want to do it. You know, I think it's got some good traction.
Sorry, they should have called it Coming to America also. That is, I do like that they put the 2 in the middle, but that also gives me fucking Fantastic Four flashbacks. When they put
America again.
Returning to America. I think the Dumb and Dumber that came out like the last 5 years is what killed it for me.
Because that was not. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about.
No, absolutely not. So okay, how long have we been going? A little bit onto. We got a couple, like 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes before we really should jump into the recap. Oh, did you ever see Running Man? The Arnold movie from the 90s.
The Arnold movie?
Yeah, Arnold.
Yeah. Hold on. Maybe, I don't know.
It takes place in a dystopian future. He's an ex-cop. He has to take place in a game where he has to win to survive.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's a classic. You should watch it. But anyway, They are doing a remake of it, which at first I was like,
Starring Arnold?
No, I don't think so.
Arnold runs again.
I mean, that would be sweet, an older Arnold. But Edgar. Wait, is this the same movie? Let me make sure it's the same movie. It's Edgar Wright is directing it. So.
Okay. Edgar Wright to direct Stephen King's The Running Man is right here. Yeah, I believe it.
Wait, is this the Running Man? I want to make sure this is the right Running Man because I didn't know Stephen King wrote it. Like the same Running Man.
I mean, the Stephen King fandom wiki confirms it.
Well, I'm talking about the Arnold one. Is that the Running?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay. So I went through a mix of emotions there because I was like, another goddamn remake. But then I was like, Edgar Wright's directing it, and I usually Edgar Wright directing anything, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm in. So I think there's only one person that I would actually count to direct this, right? It would be probably Edgar Wright, or maybe the person who did The Raid if they wanted to go more serious. But I can already just picture like the quirky cut, not the quirky, but Edgar Wright has a really nice way of editing things and his own style. I think he, like a dystopian game show is like kind of film is like his perfect. It's gonna. I think it's gonna be great. I think.
Yeah. I think that he's the right man for the job.
Mm-hmm.
I have no frame of reference as to like the original film, but I have some frame of reference to Edgar Wright.
It's pretty. I didn't know Stephen King wrote that. I mean, Stephen King had that period where he was on cocaine for like 10 years and he wrote like 1,000 books. So, guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on my bookshelf. I have a lot of Stephen King books up there. You can even see it up here.
Yeah. All right, I got one last article I want to talk about. That is also another remake, but it's also going to tie into the movie I want to watch for next week because next week is my week. Train to Busan.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
We are going to watch that next week. So first of all, that's going to be the movie the next week.
Holy shit.
Wait.
Yeah. So if you don't know, now you know. I fucking love zombie movies. And
I think it's one of the best zombie movies almost like ever.
The upper echelon for me. Honestly, I've told a lot of people that it is like my favorite zombie film ever. It is so good.
It's so good. The reason I wanted to talk about it though is they're doing an American remake of it.
No.
Don't like that. First of all, I saw the way I saw it was a Twitter comment. Chelsea from Dead Meat, that YouTube series, wrote, "What is it going to be on the Detroit People Mover?" And that's fucking hilarious. For those who don't know, the Detroit People Mover is like this fucking subway that like only has like 6 stops and goes like in a mile radius at most.
That is fucking hilarious.
I hate that they are doing an American remake.
Yeah, so are you familiar with the REC series?
Yeah. Are you talking about the American remake of REC?
Yeah, which was called
Quarantine?
Like Quarantine? Yeah. So REC was fucking unbelievable.
I agreed. The original is so good.
Was so cool. And
I'm watching terrifying.
I'm watching this movie and I'm like a quarter of the way through and I'm like, wait a second. Wait just 1 second. I've seen this fucking movie before.
Yeah.
I know I have. And so then I just took that with a grain of salt because that's what I do. I just digest information and don't care about it. So then like years have gone by and then shout out to Dead Meat yet again.
Dead Meat rules. If you guys go follow them on YouTube.
They're great. A great channel.
They have a cool podcast too.
They have a series, the Kill Count, and I watched both. Well, at first I watched the one on REC, and it just goes into such detail about how it's basically like a fucking... It is the original, and then this other movie is a frame-by-frame like recreation, Americanized version of this film. Even so much so that it's like it's just not as good. It's not as
Right.
good. And the fact that you're telling me this right now about Train to Busan is like,
It's
I have zero faith in this.
No, I have. There's. I'm not a big fan of Hollywood taking movies from other cultures because Train to Busan is very ingrained in Korean culture. Like, we also don't have high-speed rails here. Like, we are a country based off of highways.
Yeah.
We purposely don't have trains due to like, what is it going to be, the fucking Amtrak from Detroit to Chicago?
The train to Chicago. Like, what?
Yeah, like, it's stupid. It's gonna, like, that movie. I agree with you. It is one of the greatest zombie movies ever made. It is so good. It's it doesn't make sense. Actually, that article actually pissed me off when I read it. I was like,
honestly, I didn't want to tell you that you upset me just now, but you know,
I was upset. It's fine. I saw it. I was like, why? Like, and then I saw James Wan is producing it. And I was like, okay, he created the Saw franchise. Like, I'm okay with him with indie horror. And then, like, I guess the director is a director from Thailand who directed this really cool martial arts movie. It's called, like, They Come at Night or something. It's on Netflix. It's something that's like, let me see if I can find it. It's a cool martial arts.
It Comes at Night. Yeah, okay.
It's The Night Comes for Us, which is a pretty cool. It's a brutal martial arts film, which is pretty good. But, like, still, like, don't make a remake of Train to Busan. Just make your own damn thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about that, and I don't know. It's kind of upsetting.
It's gonna fail.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's gonna flop because I'm definitely not gonna watch it until I can watch it for one of the number of subscriptions that I pay for on a monthly basis. Exactly. It's not something I'm gonna go to the fucking theater and see. That Train to Busan was like one of the highest grossing films. It's Korea,
it's one of the biggest Korean films of all time. It's so good.
So I completely expect it to drop here and flop here.
Right, because it's like
so much to live up to, man.
And it's taking something from, like I said, it's very engraved in Korean culture. Like, how are you going to translate, like, the way the Korean culture is against American culture? Like, there's a difference, and it's gonna. I don't like now. Not that many people use trains in America. Like, what the fuck?
Right. You know, I can literally, like, count on both hands the amount of times I've ridden a train in my entire fucking life.
Same, and that was like take me like 30 miles away, and they're both.
And one of them was at a fucking amusement park, like, gathering food on my way through an amusement park.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be your train?
Yeah, what is, like, the fucking Disney Epcot monorail? Like, what the fuck? Oh, gosh. Right. Yeah.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was, I forgot to mention it during Mortal Kombat. I'm particularly excited about the casting of Sub-Zero.
Who is that? I don't even know who that is.
I believe, I don't want to butcher his name. So I'm gonna look him up really quick. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right movie here.
I just clicked on the 1995 one.
Where are you from?
Joe Taslim?
Yes. He was in Raid?
Holy shit, he was in Raid. I know who this is. Hell yeah.
Dude, also at The Night Comes for Us.
Yeah. I recommend that movie for anyone. And also, I recommend The Raid. We need one dude. That movie fucking rules.
Yeah, so when I saw that, that was one of the things, like, we had spoken last week a bit about how we were concerned that it's might be a little bit cheesy, and who knows about, like, the casting and stuff. But, like, when I saw this specific guy's name for that role, for Sub-Zero, I was like, man, this is going to be a fucking bang.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I didn't know that.
This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that means, like, the fight scenes are actually gonna, like, look pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he's in it, because, like, he's in a lot of martial arts films that are really good.
Shout out to Joe Taslim. Watch The Raid. Watch this other movie.
Watch The Raid 2 also. Like, both Raid 1 and 2 are pretty good.
Man, it's not gonna, dude. I was gonna ask before we started. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Like, how long do you think before we get into foreign films? 3 weeks.
Oh, with me immediately. I love foreign films.
And honestly, we might just stick to foreign films.
Dude, I wouldn't mind watching like Train to Busan, then watching The Raid, and then watching like
bangers. Have you ever seen?
Just
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why is this happening?
What's it about?
It is about a guy whose wife gets murdered.
Is it Korean?
Yeah.
It's oh god.
I think it's like The Devil something.
It's like yes, I know it's really brutal. It's not Old Boy.
No.
It's not
Old
the
Boy's really good too.
I think it's the same director though.
This is not.
Old Boy is also really good. Dude, a Korean film is so good.
It's so good.
I know what it is.
I Saw the Devil.
I saw the yeah.
It is so just ridiculously cool. It's very brutal. But that was a cool one. I honestly think like if we were gonna we're like falling into now foreign horror films with Train to Busan, I might just keep it on the tracks.
Dude, I mean, I'd be there's a couple Japanese horror films that are pretty like Hausu. It's like I want to watch. It's supposed to be really good. It's about like a house that eats people, but it's supposed to be like really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if we ever cover The Ring, I hate
Monster House.
Yeah, there's a lot. All right, well let's talk. We're doing horror this week too, and indie horror, which made me excited. So let's talk about Color Out of Space, which I kept calling it the Color Out of Outer Space, and I realized how redundant that is.
Yeah.
So let me pull up the IMDb page because I want to hit some things. But this week, for the movie of the week, because that's what we do here, we did Color Out of Space, the 2019 movie led by Nicolas Cage, directed by Richard Stanley, based off of a Lovecraft story. And this was my third time watching it, Shane. I know it was your first time watching it. I want to hear what you thought of it.
So I was just like immediately gripped by it. I loved it a lot. It was a lot of fun all the way through. I thought that it did a great job of embracing those like classic Lovecraftian themes. I thought I knew what was going on, but I wasn't sure, and I thought I knew, and I kind of thought, and you know, the whole time you're like, I don't really fucking know, and then it just kind of like keeps ramping up. But ultimately, I like this movie so much that immediately the following day, I listened to the audiobook entirely.
Nice.
Loved that just as much. I think no matter, I've been telling my coworkers, I've been telling my friends, I think that no matter how you take this specific type of media in, you should. Whether it's the movie or the story, they're similar enough to where you can get like the same amount of value from them. I think. I think the movie does a great job of sort of doing what the story does, and I'm not disappointed that I watched the movie first. I had someone ask me that. I thought that was, normally sometimes it is that way, but I think that in this case they kind of play off each other really, really well, and I thought that the movie was kind of like a modern adaptation. And then when I listened to the story, it felt really modern anyway, in a weird way. It was really kind of unsettling. And I know not everybody knows this, but like over the last few years, I've become just like a ginormous fan of H.P. Lovecraft, taking in like all kinds of media. And I know that filmmakers have really struggled to kind of get it on the screen.
Eldritch horror is hard to make.
Was a fucking fantastic iteration of it. I loved it all the way through.
I mean, I agree.
I agree.
I think
I liked it even more after hearing the book.
Yeah, I did read The Color Out of Space, but that was probably like 12 years at this point. So I couldn't remember. I just remember that something falls from the sky. It's a color that you can't explain, and just things get really fucked. But I agree with you everything here. I think Eldritch horror is a very hard thing to translate to the screen. It's how do you translate something that literally is described on paper as something you cannot describe, but put it on screen. And I think The Color Out of Space does a very good job at that. I think it sits up in the echelons, kind of in the top tier with a couple Eldritch horror movies that have come out in the last 20, 30 years. Like, well, even farther, I think The Thing, I would put it up with, I think The Thing is a better movie, but like there's not many movies I think are better than The Thing. That's just not fair to any other. That's not fair to put The Thing against any movie. But like The Thing, we have The Void. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's like the hospital one, yeah.
It's very good.
I think The Endless, which is about the cult and those two brothers and like all the different times.
Yeah, I never finished it, but I know what you're talking about.
That one was pretty good. What is it? Deep Horizon Zero Deep. Do you know what one?
Yeah.
0 point. Oh God, what is it called?
It's called.
It's like the Warcraft 40K movie.
Horizon.
Oh,
no, the fucking. It's the thing when you're in a black hole.
Oh God, is it Deep Horizon? Am I right?
I don't know.
No. Oh my God, I have to look. I'm gonna type in 40K movie. And it's gonna tell me.
Right, I'm gonna look up Sam Neill.
Oh yeah, Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Event Horizon also does that really weird cosmic space horror. That movie's terrifying.
I love it.
It's good. And then the last one, I don't know if people would consider this Eldritch horror, but I'm gonna put it in the same rank as The Color Out of Space, but The Lighthouse.
Yeah, no, I think in some ways it is. It's all about interpretation, right? Art is pretty subjective.
Exactly, art is subjective.
And in my eyes, I think that is an Eldritch style movie in the same way that, sorry to cut you off, but I think that Annihilation is also in a way that it embodies those sort of like Lovecraftian things. And that after having watched this movie and now having heard the audiobook, it is so like comparable. I feel like if there was a specific story that Annihilation was gaining influence from, it would probably have been Color Out of Space.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I want to make a video of this on my other channel about how to do Eldritch horror in movies. I think The Color Out of Space is a good way to break it down. You have isolation. You have a normal group of people. I mean, normal. They have their flaws. They have their drama, but that's just normal human drama. And then something fucking weird happens, and it just ramps up. That is how you make Eldritch horror. You need the isolation. You need a normal ass scenario, and then you just need something so insane that happens that just throws everything in a loop. And that's exactly what Color Out of Space is. That's what The Lighthouse is. The Lighthouse just two people. Well, I mean, there's a lot going in The Lighthouse, but objectively, it's just two people going to the lighthouse. Event Horizon. They're just in a spaceship. The Thing, they're just at a research facility, and like
totally alone.
It's kind of like if you're doing Eldritch horror, like it kind of has to come out of nowhere. It kind of has to just be thrown,
like falling from the sky.
So for those who don't know or haven't seen Color Out of Space, first of all, go see it. I recommend it. It's on Amazon. You can rent it for $3 on Amazon Prime. That's what I did.
Me too.
Actually, I bought the poster. It's for my wall. The poster is so cool. It's one of the coolest movie posters if you haven't seen it.
I like that we both watched this movie and then instantaneously like did something else related to the movie, unless you bought that previously.
No, I bought it immediately after I watched the movie. It's been in my cart for a long time.
That's awesome. Like you watched the movie, bought a poster. I watched the movie, did the book. It's like, man, I would get a poster or something. Like it's a very, very cool story, and I'm a little disappointed in myself for not having like heard of it before. Like I had heard of the movie a bunch. We'd obviously talked about it, but like I've been trying to like dig through the Cthulhu mythos for the last like 4 years. How is this something that like never even crossed my radar? Like it wasn't until this week that I knew it was a book.
Yeah, well, the movie
was the Lovecraftian like themed story, but I had no idea that it was actually an H.P. Lovecraft short story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the release I actually remember very well because it was only I heard about this prior. I have like my ear to like the indie movie scene, which is a weird thing to say, but like I have a lot of sources. Because
it's not that weird if anybody here knows Farm Goat in real life.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I have a degree. Experimental cinema is like academically what I researched. Indie film is my passion, so it's like
It's not
film
that out
festivals.
of the ordinary that
It's
you would
not.
find something
So
cool.
like I usually have things like that, but I remember hearing about it and be like super jazzed. I was like, cool, they're actually doing a film, like they're actually showing it at smaller art houses on film. But the closest place that was premiering this movie, because it was an indie movie when it came out, I think it only made like a 2 or 3 million in box office because it was just playing in small theaters, but it was like a 2.5 hour drive if I was gonna go see it, and the tickets sold out like that. So I was like, damn it. So yeah, so the story of The Color Out of Space is, first of all, we have to acknowledge Nicolas Cage is in it. If that's a selling point to anyone, it's a selling point to me. Usually I have a picture of Nicolas Cage behind me.
Sometimes it's a selling point for me, sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
like it really depends. For this one, it was huge. I was like, you're telling me that you have Nicolas Cage in a movie about a book written by a guy who notoriously writes about people descending into madness.
Yeah, it's perfect.
This is going to be amazing. There is no better cast, and I feel like for like the third part of the podcast where we have to, do our own iteration, it's going to be just like week one, where it's like we completely avoid recasting. Like,
we have to recast or not. Even though it's spoilers, so spoilers going ahead. If you haven't seen Color Out of Space, we're about to talk about them in depth, so spoilers ahead. He's no more at the end of the movie. He dies. Oh God, the whole third half of this movie is brutal. But anyway, The Color Out of Space is a movie that it's a movie. There, we're done.
Sure is.
It sure is a movie. It follows a family in the middle of the woods. It's based off of the Boston area, the Arkham area, because it's cool that actually referenced Arkham University. They have
chills down my spine.
Yeah.
When they said Arkham, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. That was the moment I knew I was going to read the book.
Right. Yeah. So they reference Arkham University, which is a Lovecraftian landmark. It is a place in most Lovecraftian stories. It is a place that researches, and it's just a university. So it follows a main character, Ward, who is sent as a person who just studies nature and making sure the water's not poisoned. He goes into the middle of the woods to meet this family to check on their water supply, and we run into a pretty normal family. There's a teenage daughter who's arguing with the parents. There's some tension between everyone there. Tommy Chong is in it. From Cheech and Chong.
For some reason.
Well, she's also great in it. He's also
I'm
there.
Not talking shit, but that was the first thing I did when I saw it. I was like, wait, what?
It was, yeah.
Was he living out in the woods on this guy's land?
Yeah.
He just he's our squatter. I was like, he's your what?
Yeah. Pretty much. So we have... Our main character is Ward, so we pretty much follow his the story jumps between him and the family, but we get a pretty normal situation. One night, a meteorite, asteroid, something. It's not either of those actually. Something falls out of the sky, lands on the property. It glows this purplish color, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's weird." And then, in true Eldritch horror fashion, shit gets real quick. The mother cutting carrots cuts her fingers off while doing that. That scene is very disturbing and very intense. There's a bunch of llamas. We get a lot of body horror in this movie. The llamas merge together to make this huge mass of grotesque creature. It is disturbing. A strange purple mantis appears. And things just start getting weird.
Things are awesome. Things are great for this family.
Yeah.
In kind of both stories. It's it's weird. Okay, this thing fucking landed here. And yes, she does eventually cut her fingers off, but in the interim, their plants are growing really well.
Yep.
Their tomatoes are enormous. Now they taste like shit.
No, they're awful.
but their ground is really fertile, and then things just
then it spirals out of control.
Yeah,
they
take a turn.
Where they find out whatever the color out of space. It is called that because in the story it's described as an indescribable color. They use the color purple here, which I think was actually a really good move. I think like you can't show an indescribable color on screen because it's impossible. It literally can't happen. So I think the color purple, this very vibrant, very bright purple, was a good choice for that. It also makes the movie visually stunning. But anyway, the family is like splits up because the mother cut her fingers off. Nicolas Cage takes her to the hospital. Shit keeps getting weirder. The youngest kid, of course, because it's a horror movie, the youngest kid is doing the creepiest shit.
It's so weird. That kid's so fucking weird.
Yeah. Then there's some miscommunications. They're trying to call each other. They're getting like yelled at voices. One thing the movie does is really good at, which Eldritch horror movies have to be good at, is they don't explain what's going on. Just shit's happening. It's not like, oh, the meteorite's messing with the radio. It's just like, nah, shit's happening. Shit's weird.
Which is one of my like favorite ways to kind of portray horror. I was going to talk about this earlier, but like I really love it when the movie just doesn't show the monster.
I'm a big fan of that. I think
or they show it like for a second in the end if they have to.
Yeah, I think horror movies, I have a theory, and I think a lot of people have this theory. The more a creature is on screen in a horror movie, the less suspense there is, the less horror there is.
Correct.
Like, think Alien.
Yeah, true. The immediate exception that comes to my mind for a movie that showed a monster really, really early but held its gusto is A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
And I think it's just kind of like the nature of what happens, right? The gravity of the situation.
I'd agree with that. And I think slasher films are kind of an exception, like seeing Jason and Freddy and all those guys.
In this case, I think that they did a really nice job of really like immersing you and also not telling you anything at all. Giving you no answers, really. It's just letting it kind of play out.
Yeah. Eventually, some other key points. The mother and the child fuse into one of the most disturbing creatures I have ever seen on any film. That part is so fucked up. They fuse into this kind of body horror creature that it just cries out in pain for the entirety that it is on the screen.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. It's a combination of both of their voices, and it's like distorted in a combination with like those weird Eldritch sounds, and it's they like the only like things that you can really hear them say are people's names, so it's like real weird because you also know other people's names, so you know what they're saying, and it's just like I don't know. It was pretty unnerving, but yeah, they were like cradled together, and they got zip-zop together, and then
it was
suddenly
terrifying.
It was like he was her backpack.
Yeah, it's so grotesque. I would equate it to The Fly with Goldblum.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. However, I will say just sorry to keep bringing it back, and if you're not wanting spoilers on the book, sorry about that too. But
this is we're talking spoilers, people. If you're still here, sorry.
In the book, it's described that his wife crawls around on all fours, and they don't get fused together in the book. But in the movie, they absolutely get fused together, and she's still like like it's like his legs and her like their appendages like fused together and made them longer, and she crawls around on all fours. And I thought this movie was like a masterful interpretation of the words of the book, just in a modernized way.
Agreed.
And and I think they modernized it so that it'd be more palatable for people, but they also removed modern things, like the cell phones were never working.
Which is a big problem with horror. If you have cell phones make horror complicated. They got rid of them. Good job. That was good.
True that. And in the book, Nyman, the main character in the book, the farmer, was always just kind of like staring at the wall, and in this it was like they had a TV.
He was staring at the TV.
Like never working, and it was always showing like distorted images. I love that they modernized it without modernizing it.
No, the translation's really good. I think
I like it a lot.
And they in parts they actually use the text from Lovecraft, don't they?
Yes.
Like which is really cool, and you can tell it is like a big like it's in your face when that happens, but it also feels right. Like Ward's, I think, final monologue. So in the end, the family's all dead. They all die.
Yeah,
Ward is the only one who survives.
And his closing monologue, I believe, are both pulled straight from the story.
And when Tommy Chong's character dies, I'm pretty sure when he's speaking through the radio in that really weird Eldritch voice, that is also from the story. But Ward is the only one who survives. We get a cool monologue about only a few people remember what happened, but there's something in the ground, something in the water. The last half of the movie is pretty much just I want to say traditional horror, but not really. Things keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. There is no one wins in this movie, which no one should ever win in an Eldritch film. Like there is no winning against Eldritch horror. That is the thing. Even if you
breaks, there
is no breaks. Once you start going, you get going. And the visuals in the second half of the movie are fantastic, fucking spectacular. I love that they made it so vibrant and so psychedelic and so trippy.
Yeah,
they did a really good job.
Very well done.
I think, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I there's not much I can say bad about this movie because I can't think of anything that I didn't like about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially after reading the source material and having something to sort of compare it to, I really think they just absolutely fucking knocked it out of the park. There are like some subtle differences, but you know, nothing that affects the story. And I really think that it is just really well done. And I like that the end of this, it provides this lingering, unnerving feeling because ultimately all of this land in both stories, the book and the movie, ultimately was meant to be filled with water and turn into a reservoir for the neighboring town.
Yep. And it's like they're still doing that at the end. It's like, but why? Why
in both stories it gets finished?
It's like, why?
Water, and that water supplies water to everybody. And Ward is like the only person that knows this. And well, not the only person, like all the other people experienced the strange times or whatever, but he's the one that's just like saw this shit firsthand and was like, damn, yeah, fill it with water anyway. He's like, I'm glad you buried that shit, but I'm never drinking the water here. And then he just fucking pieces out.
Dude, yeah. It's
cool that he survived, but I like that there's that. Yeah. It's just never over.
It's just never over. That's the thing. It's the same with the Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game, which I really like about it, is like you go into playing those games knowing you're not going to win.
Yeah. There's
it's the beauty of Eldritch horror.
And
it's a primal force. You lose. It's same with like the tabletop, like the board game, Eldritch Horrors. That game I never beat it. You just lose.
Yeah. I like that Lovecraft and the film both like leave you kind of wondering about, well, I mean, at least they left me wondering about the people of Arkham. You know, right. I want to know the follow-up story, and I think that's the glorious thing about the Cthulhu mythos is it allowed people to kind of expand on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would love to see if somewhere out there was a story that branched off directly from this, like the water that seeped into Arkham. What happened to Arkham?
Right, absolutely. But I also kind of like that about Eldritch Horror is that we don't get the answers.
Yeah.
But it's like it's both way. Like I would love to hear more, but like.
Exactly. I just love that it allows my mind to sort of explore that avenue.
Yeah. So before we get into creating our own, I want to talk about Richard Stanley, the director, a bit. Okay. Have you ever? He's made a couple things. He's mostly a writer. The only thing I've really seen from him, other than Call Out of Space, was Hardware from the 90s. He wrote that and directed it, I'm pretty sure. It is this film that is kind of like a cult classic where a cyborg comes alive and starts killing a bunch of people. I don't know. Have you ever seen it?
No, but he was also a writer on The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is
he was.
That I've never seen, but I've heard a ton of good things about.
Yeah. One thing about Hardware is Iggy Pop's in it. So
okay, nice.
Yeah, and Lemmy from Motorhead.
Oh, cool.
So it's a cool classic, like I said. But like he kind of like he's made a lot of low budget movies, which kind of goes back to my point last episode that horror is really done well when you have a low budget and you're working with indie directors.
Yeah.
I think this proves it.
Credit to, and any indie director really that just, I feel like they put their all into it.
Yeah.
And and it's a passion project more than anything.
Exactly. And when you have constraints like that, like I could talk about horror movies and like the beauty of them being lower budget and like how constraints make them better. You can get really concise stories and really the things that are important are more important because you can throw your money into them. I just think it's a great film. So due to an Eldritch anomaly, no one has voted in our polls. So let's roll some dice. Let's do what we're good at. I'm blaming it on the color of space blowing the radio. That's why. Yeah. All the millions of viewers right now are just trying to vote. Everyone who's watching this in the future, obviously we have 1 million. Yeah, obviously we've overloaded the servers. Everyone watching in the future, listening in the future. When we say we have an audience, it's really millions of people. It's crazy, actually. So let's roll some dice figuring this out.
Let's do it ourselves.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right.
Do you want to roll dice?
Do you want to roll a D4 and a D3? A D3 isn't a thing, but let me just go.
Wait, I have like my actual. Oh shit! I have my dice.
Yeah, go for it. Can you roll a D4 and then roll a D10 and then roll a D4, and we just won't count the 4.
Okay. Now we're playing.
For those who didn't know, we are also incredibly big tabletop role-playing nerds. So.
All right, I got an 8 and a 4.
8. All right, we'll roll a 4.
Fuck. I got a 1. 8 and a 1.
Okay. A Western remake of Color Out of Space.
I kind of love it, though.
I love it. This is sweet. All right. So for those who are new here, it's only our second episode. The last part of this, our podcast, is kind of like the main idea. We like when we created this was Shayne and I like to come up with ideas for prequels and sequels and remakes of movies. So with the help of the audience, other than they've all been abducted by Cthulhu this time, you guys can vote on what genre type of movie you want us to make, and if it's a remake, sequel, or prequel of the movie of the week. So this week we are going to have to come up with a Western remake of The Color Out of Space, and I think that those two genres actually work really well together.
Yeah, this is so easy. You take this exact same story and cast, and you put it in Paradise, Texas, from Tremors.
Is Tremors technically a Western?
No, but it's just, I think it's the perfect landscape.
Right.
It's like a little podunk town in the middle of the desert, nearby like some mountains and stuff, big open skies at night. And I just think that's like the perfect place for a Western shootout. I'm sure that, you could just use that classic backlot Hollywood set of a Western, but why?
Yeah.
Go to Texas, find a house with a well, and just film it there and put, Nicolas Cage in a cowboy outfit, and the rest of it just writes itself.
To even go off of that more, I'm looking, no one's really done a Western Eldritch horror. That would be such a good idea. Like,
be interesting.
We talked about in the beginning, what you need to make an Eldritch horror is isolation, people doing normal things, and then something bizarre happening.
So easy in this situation.
You have some cattle people. I've got
cattle
people. You got some ranchers. You got some ranchers trying to get their cows across the Utah desert.
Oh, shit.
And the cows start blowing up or something, or like you, instead of like alpacas, llamas, you get this like, I would love, like, there's been a couple of horror westerns that have come out kind of in the last 10 years, like Bone Tomahawk. Did you ever see that?
I don't think so.
It's like a western horror movie. It's more based in kind of real life, but it is pretty scary. The Revenant, I guess I would kind of count as a horror movie.
It's horrifying.
It's terrifying. But there's this thing here. I mean, even if we wanted to really go into the Western okay, I had an idea.
I want to watch this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Tomahawk sounds great.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I love Kurt Russell. Talk about the thing.
Dude, Kurt Russell could put Kurt Russell in anything. I'll watch it. He's he's like Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah.
So I just had an idea. So Western movies, if we're talking traditional Western, like spaghetti Western, which ready for fun movie facts with Zach. Do you know why they were called spaghetti Westerns?
No.
It's because most of the Westerns directed in the peak of westerns, like 30s, 40s, 50s, were directed all by Italian directors.
Okay, I did know that.
Yeah, that's why they're called spaghetti westerns. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. But that's why they're called spaghetti westerns. It's a fact that I've known for a very long time. But like, yeah, a lot, because Italian directors were really big in like the mid 1950s and stuff. I mean, Italian. If we want to talk about really good horror, Italian horror around that time period is so good. I almost did an Italian finger kisses, but I feel like that would have been bad. Chef's finger kisses. But yeah.
You know how I learned that there was a lot of Italian directors in the 40s and 50s. L.A. Noire.
Yeah. But anyway, that's your facts. That's why they're spaghetti westerns. If we're doing spaghetti westerns, it would be kind of like you could have that whole trope of defending the Magnificent Seven, defending the homestead from bandits, but like it's not bandits. It's something strange in the well. People are going crazy. But I just had an idea. What if you took kind of reimagine a historical event, specifically the Donner Party?
Okay.
You know, that's when the cannibalism happened.
Yeah.
But make that into an Eldritch horror. I think it's like the Titanic. It's been long enough. We can make a horror movie about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It happened years ago.
Yeah, but like it would be in like so kind of going off that tangent, like there's the Donner Party, then there's Dialta Pass in Russia that had something similar, but like that actually seems Eldritch. Like a bunch of people were found dead in the Siberian wilderness, except they were like ripped in, kind of like some of them were like ripped apart, and they had radiation poisoning in the middle of fucking nowhere, like in the middle of like Siberia. It is a crazy. People talk about like the cryptid community and kind of like that more like supernatural community talk about a lot. It's a really interesting, but it would be really cool to do is like the Donner Party, but make it Eldritch horror, make it the color out of space. Maybe that's why they all went crazy and ate each other. Other than other than going the wrong fucking way like they did. Sorry if you were in the Donner Party.
Yeah.
You made some mistakes along the way. But anyway, I think Western Eldritch horror needs to be a thing. Like isolation, people not going on. You can even do it like really early, like late 1800s or late 1800s or even like mid 1800s, when people kind of were just going to places they didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, not to bring it back to this, but I mean, Tremors is.
That
way. Like, it encapsulates all those things. You have the isolation, you have this like mundane community of people just doing average shit, and then something insane happens.
Is Tremors an Eldritch horror movie? Did we just figure that out?
Did we just crack the fucking code?
I think we did. I mean, according to our list we made, isolation, normal family, something crazy happens. That's Tremors.
I'm just Googling.
I don't think
probably like a oh shit. Maybe.
Dude, I think it is.
I think seems as though I have found on the Eldritch Horror Wiki via fandom that
nice.
There are these things called the Burrowers Beneath.
Oh, there's actually there's a, going back to tabletop role-playing games, when we played when I ran that Call of Cthulhu one shot, one of the scenarios, the one I didn't pick, was actually going into a town and being a bunch of like worm people underneath the ground that were stealing people. Wow, that's just Tremors.
Yeah.
Tremors is Eldritch horror. We broke the code, everyone.
We've done it.
We've done it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
We did it. We set out Tremors is Eldritch horror. So I don't know what you're gonna do with that information.
And confirm, we're bringing it back. Hashtag Tremors is Eldritch horror.
Dude, I think I might. I've been thinking of like doing some more screenwriting lately because I haven't really wrote anything in a bit. I think it'd be a cool exercise to write an Eldritch horror Western.
I think that would be amazing. It has a lot of potential.
I think, and if we're doing Color Out of Space, like Color Out of Space is a Western. Boom, easy. You said, you just need a well.
Yeah, that's it. You need a well and a meteorite, and you pretty much crack the code. Because even in the story, like, the local townspeople didn't give a shit. The government didn't give a shit. They had other things going.
And I mean, to go off of that, if we are doing like the Western, if we're doing like Texas or like Utah or maybe like Southern California or something like that, maybe like the reservoir has to be created because there's not too much water to kind of like add on to that. And like, you could even make the entire town have to deal with it. And like the ending of the Color Out of Space Western style is like everyone in the town is dead. Yeah, people will come by and just like, oh, sweet water.
Man.
Boom.
Yeah. The sheriff just, we gotta open the dam. And they open the dam, flood the reservoir.
Yeah,
we just gotta bury it.
I think there's something there. I think, you could do a lot of Lovecraftian stories in the West. So
I completely agree. Yeah, I think so too.
Mountains of Madness, but not in the fucking Arctic. Just Texas.
In the middle of Utah.
The middle of Utah. Wow, like Salt Lake City. So there's only
Salt Lake City is Arkham.
Oh god. The Mormons are onto something. There's only really one other like Lovecraftian movie that I like more than this. I want to say as we're wrapping that up, and that is Reanimator. But even now, I'm thinking like Reanimator in the West would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm one of those shameful Lovecraftian film fans that hasn't yet to seen Reanimator.
Oh, it's one of my favorite horror movies. It's good.
Always been on Netflix, and I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, that's good. I've seen it live, not like live. You can't see movies live. But yeah, I've seen it in like midnight showings a couple of times. It's probably one of my favorite horror movies. It's so good. But I think that's it. Do we have anything else to say on Color Out of Wind or a rewrite of Color Out of Wind Western style? If it's a remake, just what? Say that again.
Color Out of Wind?
What did I say? Oh my god, I'm sorry. Color Out of Space. Color Out of Wind would also work too.
That's probably what it'd be called if it was.
Yeah, it would be Color Out of Wind. It would be, or the Color of the Wind.
Space didn't have a name in 1880.
Yeah, it was just all the wind. Yeah. I think that would be a sweet movie.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah, we're great. We're fantastic. We're the best, everyone. That's why you listen to us. Oh, there's one last thing I want to say before we wrap this episode. I wanted to say it earlier in the beginning of the episode, but I'm an idiot and I forgot, and we didn't talk about WandaVision.
We talked a little bit about
it. We did, but I have a conspiracy. This is not about Color Out of Space anymore, everyone. This is going back.
Okay.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
Said that there is a fucking people have seen know the Mandalorian spoiler at this point.
What?
People know the Mandalorian spoiler at this point of that Luke Skywalker appears, right?
Oh, they do now. Jeez.
It's been a couple months.
Holy shit, my chat's blowing up.
No
spoilers!
Come at me, I'll fight you. I don't know. Fight me, nerds. But anyway, Elizabeth Olsen said there is that level of appearance.
Yeah.
In WandaVision. People are saying Reed Richards. People are saying Doctor Strange, Magneto. But
He's got a big magnetic net. Watch out!
I'm calling it now. Everyone clip this. So when I'm right, everyone can point to me being the right person. So pretty much, God, WandaVision's spoilers going forward. Anyone listening to this or watching this, close your ears for like 10 minutes. No, not 10 minutes, like 5 minutes. But in 5 seconds, I'm going to spoil the last episode. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At the end of WandaVision, the last episode, we get Agatha Harkness. It was Agnes all along, which is the greatest bop of all time. The title, which is a great bop. But we get Agatha Harkness, which, I mean, it's pretty much been guessed since the beginning that Agnes is behind the entire thing. They foreshadow it really easy. Mm-hmm. We also get some books in her cellar that look very devilish. And there's one book, I can't remember what it's called, but it's also popped up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh. It's pretty much, I'm still going off that Mephisto is still involved. How do you say it? Mephisto. I've only ever read it.
Mephisto?
Dude, I'm stuck in this. How do you say it?
Mephisto.
The Satan, the MC. Okay, so the MCU.
From Earth 616.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we pretty much. I'm still going off that he's in it.
That's been like a working theory in my mind since for a while. I thought for a while that what's his name?
Nightmare.
Quicksilver was like, I thought it was a red herring and it was actually Mephisto, and then that episode I was like, hey, I think it's actually probably Agnes.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, that's probably true.
So anyway, we get Quicksilver from also the X-Men universe. We still don't know his place, if he got pulled in from another multiverse. But we are now in a part where there's a conflict with Mephisto. How do you say this?
Despacito.
Oh my god.
I am the Mephisto. It's Mephisto.
Mephisto. I don't know why I can't say that. Mephisto. I'm just calling you, dude. I can't say it. It's one of those names I can't say.
Ma. Like your mom.
Ma.
Fist.
Mephisto.
Oh.
I'm just calling it MCU Satan.
Oh.
Anyway, MCU Satan. There's one person who's already. So we already get like people coming in from the Fox network and stuff, and X-Men and stuff. And we still have this crazy crossover that's supposed to be happening. There is one person who has fought, or goes out of his way to bring the MCU Satan hell. He is the spirit of vengeance. I'm calling it Nicolas Cage appears as Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah, right. I hope so. Dude, I hope you're right.
Dude, we get Quicksilver pulled in. I'm just picturing it like last episode of WandaVision. Like there's a fight, there's going on, and Wanda's like reaching out, and like the one person who knows how to fucking get in, like just do it.
And he's like, how the hell did I get here?
You just hear like fucking Nicolas Cage walks in, Ghost Rider, boom, Ghost Rider's in the MCU.
Oh my god.
You're hearing it first here. That's my call. We're doing that's
clip it. Everybody clip it.
Don't cut me not being able to say that name right.
Despacito.
But anyway, God, I'd be first of all, I think I'm the only, I looked it up, I would be the only one to call that. So I don't think
Probably, I think so. I will say though, last note on WandaVision, you and I were getting real hyped about this astrophysicist, and I had no fucking idea who it was.
Dude, everyone's so disappointed in that. I mean, I've kind of blamed the director for that, for putting such emphasis on like, oh, I have this friend, wink, wink, nudge, nudge camera, and then it's like,
hello?
Who the fuck are you? You're just some random person. No, you're not even in the comics. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know you. Thank goodness you had this thing.
Yeah, people.
That was the moment that I knew that anything that she says, she's full of shit, but she's still probably like the best character in the show. Not actually the best character, but I do really like her. She came in the beginning, and I was like, who is this lady? And then I put the pieces together, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then like the last 2 or 3 episodes, I've really
she got her
all into it.
She has her powers now. We're talking about the same person. Yeah, Spectrum. Yeah. Her powers are sweet.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
She's cool. I mean, and someone said on Twitter, it's like no one's like not enough people are freaking out that we possibly just got a new Avenger, which
That's
is like
true.
Like Spectrum or Photon. She has like a lot of superhero names in the comics, but like she's very powerful. She can control energy, so she's strong. We're gonna see her fight next couple episodes. Will be cool. But anyway, that's this episode. We got to go play some Portal 2. Let's do some plugs and then get the hell out of here. Shane, let the people know. Let the millions of people watching know.
Millions.
Let all the millions of people know.
So this is weird plugging my Twitch channel while streaming on my Twitch channel, but you can catch me here on my Twitch channel, or as it's more commonly known as, twitch.tv/bringtheshane.
Yeah.
Here, often. My schedule is posted here and on Twitter. We'll see you around.
Hell yeah. I mean, same. Just look under me right now. You'll see twitch.tv/farmgoat. Or if you're listening to this on a podcast, it's in the description.
But if you're watching on the multi-Twitch right now, the only thing you'll see under FarmGoat is me.
Is Shane, yeah. Which you can just see that. You can also, I have some YouTube pages. You can go to FarmGoat Plays. I am pretty much posting a video a day. That was not on purpose, but it's kind of happening. So if you like a lot of content, go to my YouTube. Also, this is where this podcast is going to be. So do that. FarmGoat Says is also having some content coming out more, which that's more of my professional YouTube where I talk about movies in a more way where I'm not saying fuck every 3 words. Which I'm actually making a video right now. I'm writing it about how to do Eldritch horror right using the color out of space as a like building blocks as a outline. So if you want to hear more about color out of space, come check that out. I'm also talking about Blade Runner and the tabletop role-playing game called 1,000-Year-Old Vampire soon. Those are all videos that are in pre-production right now, so if you want to hear my thoughts on those, go check that out. Shayne and I also have another podcast called Survival Check. You can find it anywhere podcasts can be found except iTunes. If you play Dungeons and Dragons, or if you just want to hear Shayne and I and our friend Anderson and our friend Tevis talk about the monsters of the Dungeons and Dragons universe, expect the same dumbness of this podcast, but I'm saying dumbness in a good way. We get really fucking it's a really fun podcast. It's fun. There's a lot of information, but it's also very fun.
It is.
It's a good time.
It's what do they call that?
Edutainment.
Infotainment.
Yeah, it's that. You learn a lot, but you also get to hear us stupidly say stupid shit for like about an hour on a monster. The next step.
Why you tune into my channel anyway?
Right. It's why you watch us. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like you watch us for the education part of this.
For our rocket science and shit.
Yeah, the last episode we put out was on carrion crawlers, which are these large insects that eat corpses, and it is a very funny episode.
I even got to use them in my campaign.
Yeah. So anyway, go check that out. And yeah, that's it.
I
forgot to say the second part of it.
That's
That's it. Bye, everyone. We'll be back next week. We're doing Train to Busan, so if you want to watch along with us and contribute to the conversation, watch Train to Busan. Come watch us live at 10 p.m. Oh my god, my brain is working. We are live at 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. My brain is fried. Come watch us for the first half of stream, do this podcast, then come watch the second half as we play some co-op game. Tonight we're playing Portal 2. We'll probably be playing that next week too. I don't know. If we beat it. I don't know how long it is, but anyway.
1.5 hours.
Yeah, if you are listening to this in the future and you did enjoy this, come watch us live. You can write in our chats your thoughts on the movie. You can ask us questions on our thoughts on like popular media or like some news that popped up recently, like trailers and stuff. You can come in, feel free to ask those questions. We'll answer them. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on the movies we're covering, and also you can vote on what type of movie we have to create at the end. It's fun time.
We should keep a log so that everybody can keep up and watch what we watch.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna stop talking, get water, and then we're gonna play video games. So next week, Train to Busan. Excited. It's a Korean zombie flick. Super good. And that's it. Bye, everybody.
See ya. Thanks for coming along for the fun.
My mouth is so dry.